Today we're going to be seeing the differences between two awesome keyboards, the Logitech GX Pro TKL versus the SteelSeries APEX Pro. Both keyboards are going to have their pros and cons, and at the end of this video I'll share with you which one I would personally go with if you're considering getting either of these keyboards. So the first difference between both of these keyboards is going to be their actuation levels and how much force is required in order to register the click. So what do these actuation levels actually do? Well, on the SteelSeries you can see that if you hold the W key lightly, you can do something like walk, and then if you hold it harder, you can do something like running. So it's just different amounts of force required to do a different thing. So that's going to be a really cool feature that the Logitech just can't offer you with this keyboard. And this is going to be a really cool advanced feature that's going to give you a massive advantage over players in the game. The second difference between both of these keyboards is going to be their key switches. The Logitech G Pro X comes in reds, blues, or browns, and the Apex Pro comes in only one switch type, which is going to be the Omnipoint hypermagnetic switches. And here's a quick typing test for y'all to hear what the reds on the Logitech sound versus the SteelSeries switches. I personally found that the Logitech ones sound better and more polished than the SteelSeries out of the box. However, if you are into keyboard modding, you could put a foam in the back of the SteelSeries keyboard to give it a more subtle feel. The SteelSeries did sound a little clacky and clunky to me compared to the Logitech, but again, if you're a modder and you know how to kind of take the keyboard apart, you can totally do that. So the next difference between both of these keyboards is going to be their media controls. The Logitech is going to have a roller, dedicated media control buttons, dedicated light button, as well as game mode buttons. And then the Apex Pro is just going to have a roller, a single media button, and a screen. So the SteelSeries is definitely limited by not having dedicated media buttons. However, you can customize certain keys on your keyboard to have those media control buttons like pause, play, next, previous, if you really want something like that. Me, I'm always listening to music when I hop on the computer, so having those media buttons is definitely important to me. And then an advantage that the SteelSeries has over the Logitech is that it has that dedicated screen. Now, me personally, I'm not really looking at the screen as I'm actually using the computer. It's more of an indicator to see if my actuation switches are actually working or whatever sort of information I want to put on there. So that's kind of like a hit or miss depending on whether you need it or not. Now the next difference between both of these keyboards is going to be their wrist rests. Now the Logitech does not come with a wrist rest. It's just going to come with the keyboard, and that's pretty much all you get. And then you do have some legs on the back that can be adjusted to a posture that's a little more comfortable for you. However, with the SteelSeries, you're going to have that magnetic wrist rest that attaches to the keyboard, and you can really get a feel and a comfort level that you really enjoy typing on. So the next difference between both of these keyboards is going to be the color options that they come in. The Logitech comes in black, pink, and white, and the SteelSeries only comes in the black color. So if you want something other than black, Logitech is going to be the better option here if the design aesthetics of your desk setup is important to you. And the final difference between both of these keyboards is going to be their price points. The Logitech comes in at $190 as of making this video, and the SteelSeries is going to come in at $250. However, I will say that the SteelSeries does have a wired version that is going to cost $190 as well. So if you really don't need the wireless option and you still want all of the features, then go for their wired one and you can save yourself about 60 bucks. So of these keyboards, which one do I recommend personally? Well, firstly, I didn't cover every single detail about both of these keyboards. I'm mainly covering the primary differences on what most users would notice on whether that feature was present or not. But as far as which keyboard I personally would go with out of both of these, I still think SteelSeries is better than the Logitech, even though SteelSeries is an older keyboard, about like 1 year old or so, maybe 1.5 years, give or take. It's still a solid keyboard, and they recently did that software update that gives you even more features with your actuation levels, and that's going to be the big selling point, is the actuation levels. You can hold things down like W lightly to walk, and you can also hold it harder to do like a run, and you can command what those shortcuts are in the software. As opposed to the Logitech, you don't really have those different levels of actuation customization that you do with the SteelSeries. So that's my personal opinion. SteelSeries is still the better one. I would definitely consider getting that one if your budget is roughly $200 for a serious pro game keyboard. So with that being said, if you want to see a dedicated review video on either of these videos, links are going to be up here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.